Hi everyone, and welcome to Service for the Community. I'm your host, Matt Blow, and today with me we have some of our local churches. We have Amy from Clarkston United Methodist, and we have Greg from Clarkston Community Church. And today we're going to talk about just kind of what's going on in our community with our churches. So, Mary, start us off. What's going on at Clarkston United Methodist?
At Clarkston, for our community outreach, we really try to take a holistic approach. We try to help people with their immediate basic needs, and then also try to help on that systemic level, what causes poverty. So for immediate needs, we offer a food pantry, and recently we just changed up our model. Before, people would come in and we would give them a box of food. It was a very nice box of food, but it was just, here you go, here's your food. We've recently switched it up, so now it's a store format. People can come in and they can shop on their own. Some of the pluses for that is that it's given us the opportunity to really provide some fresh produce, milk, eggs, dairy,
some of the more
meats.
Perishable items, not just the kind of canned goods.
Right, that we couldn't keep in the box before. The other thing that I really like about it is that it allows people to go through and shop and pick the things that they would want. So we know that
It lets it be individualized. It's not just, here's the stock box of goods.
Exactly.
It lets you go, no, me and my family or whatever my situation, I like these things, and you kind of get to cater the box.
Exactly. So say I don't eat wheat, or I don't like tuna, so you get to go in and shop through that.
Things
exactly.
like that.
So that's one of the services that we have. The other thing that we do is emergency assistance. Last year, we were able to help 136 families with $41,000 towards evictions and shutoffs. The model with that is that we're trying to provide some peace of mind so that kids can go to school and parents can go to work, and they're not worried about, am I coming home to my stuff out on the street? They know that they've got a safe, warm place to come home to. So those are some of the immediate needs that we're providing on an ongoing basis. Through
how do you guys raise the funds for that kind of thing? Is it largely just the church different fundraising programs? Is it brought in from other groups and other avenues?
Right now, we've been really blessed. Our church members have provided those funds. We've had some individuals give a larger portion of that and had some special fundraisers throughout the church to kind of bump up that account. But another thing that we do is we partner with all the local churches, and so we're often getting referrals from Clarkston Community or even from Lighthouse, from St. Daniel's Catholic Parish, and so we're helping each other out and providing those services. So that's not something that Clarkston uniquely does.
Right.
Somebody in the community is really supported by our churches in the area.
Well, that's a great thing that it's a great thing that our community does. That pools its resources together. Has those different nonprofit service groups, whatever you want to call them, to kind of team up and work to say, how can we make Clarkston, how can we make Independence Township, even better than what it already is?
And it's something pretty unique. I mean, I've worked in a lot of different cities, and to have such a collaborative model in this community is really nice.
Well, I noticed, and this is just kind of what I see from the schools and people I meet, Clarkston seems to have kind of a wide range of really kind of high-income families and really kind of the lower kind of struggling. And that's, I don't know if that's necessarily unique to us, but it's certainly kind of, you notice that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we do have that, we really walk that spectrum in terms of that.
And I mean, I think that that's something that people can forget about sometimes if you're not from Clarkston.
Sure.
When I first came here, people were saying, oh, why are you going to Clarkston? They don't have a lot of need,
Right.
But the need is there. And the nice thing is that we have people who are willing and passionate about helping others out in our community.
Perfect. Well, Greg, what's some stuff going on with Clarkston Community Church?
Well, much like Mary at United Methodist, we partner with local outreach groups to do a lot of our heavy lifting when it comes to helping those in need. So, for instance, we partner with Lighthouse. We have a long history with them, and so people who are in need. We tend to refer to Lighthouse, and we do that because they have a very good program to help those people step out of that need or step out of that poverty and work their way into a more sustaining position in society.
It's not just the kind of treating the symptoms, it's
correct.
Addressing those symptoms, but also how do we make it so that you're not in that position again.
Correct. And at the same time, we provide financial resources from our congregation to Lighthouse to assist them with emergency needs and ongoing needs, as well as we have Lighthouse come to our building a few times a year for their programs. So Thanksgiving, when it's time to do food distributions, we do that right from the church. And then at Christmas, there's also a Christmas gift giving program that they have that we partner with them, and they come to our church, and that's the distribution point here in Clarkston. We also partner with many other organizations, but one big one with events coming up is the My Habitat Clarkston group.
Yeah, Independence Television's actually gone out a couple times, and we filmed a little bit, and hopefully down the line make some kind of look at the evolution of I start with a patch of dirt, and then it becomes a home for a family. I want to say she has 3 kids.
3 kids.
3 kids.
3 kids. She's a veteran. And the pictures I have of the home are very old, but the home is now complete, and it's going to be dedicated on April 25th.
Okay.
And we partner, part of that group is Habitat for Humanity, which is a very strong partner in the My Habitat Clarkston group.
Sure.
But the My Habitat Clarkston group is more than just about building a home for someone in need. We're also about making a difference in the community.
Sure.
So twice a year, fall and spring, we have an Impact Day. And this is a day where we motivate our church members and our community members through all the organizations that are involved in My Habitat Clarkston. There's churches, there's nonprofits, and for-profit organizations as part of the My Habitat Clarkston group. But on Impact Day, we go out and we try to make a difference by doing critical home repairs for some elderly and those in need, whether it be fixing a roof or a porch or building a wheelchair ramp. We also go out to senior homes that we find through the Senior Center in an association with them to go out and help some of those seniors with maintenance on their homes so that they can stay in their homes for a while and to help them with what they need. And we also feed the hungry. On Impact Day, there's almost always an element where we do Kids Against Hunger, or we're collecting food for the Lighthouse pantries. And so coming up April 25th and 26th is Impact Weekend. We've got projects now being
where all
scheduled.
The different things are, you're lining up your people to.
Correct.
You guys are going to go take care of the roof. You guys are going to take care of the leaves, things
Correct.
like that.
And our immediate need is to find some leaders to lead some of the projects. So if there's anybody out there who would like to lead one of the service projects, typically you have a half a dozen people or so that you're using at one of the schools or one of the homes here in Clarkston and cleaning that up, or out picking up bags of food from some of our community members.
Well, with some of the seniors, I think what people don't always are aware of until they have family members that get to the ages. Sometimes something simple as raking the leaves, or going to the winter, plowing the driveway. Some of that stuff, I think some of us are oh, that's just part of my regular routine chores and whatnot. And it's just something that for whatever reason they're just unable to do. And you get a snow day you get snow like we do or something you're blocked in your house until that gets taken care of. So it's a great way to help those people out, and it's something that people aren't always aware of until they have family and loved ones that are in a similar position. That's great. That's great. Mary, so you guys are also working with some grief kind of counseling groups, dealing with people of divorce and things like that?
Yeah, we have, we offer a class on a rotating basis at Clarkston. It's called Divorce Care. And we are recently working with hospice to provide a grief class, a grief support class for our community and for others in the community. We have a class for adults and for youth to really provide some space for people in those extremely difficult times, a caring and supportive place to kind of help you through those moments. There's a little bit of an aspect of some education. In the grief class, they'll say, here's the stages of grief, and it's okay to feel these things, and it's okay to be angry, but then there's also just that community building that happens in the class, to know that you're not alone and somebody else is there that,
you're not the only one going through.
Yeah, that can support you through it. So I think that those are great classes that we offer. And also they're a really accessible class for people who aren't our church members. You can come in, you don't have to feel intimidated oh, I need to be a member to join this class.
Right.
They're there for the community because, it's not just us that experience divorce. It's not just us that experience grief.
Right.
So a good way for people to access those programs.
Now, is the for example, the divorce part, is that for is that more focused on the kids? Is that more focused on the couple, or is it kind of a little bit of both?
It's more focused on the adults. And I don't know that they've ever run a class where, both of the parties came to the class.
I could understand how,
yeah.
depending on how
Yeah, that'd be kind of hard.
things took shape, that may be a tough thing to do.
Yes. But more for the adults. We do, though, provide free childcare for all of our programs that we offer. So if kids are part of that, you can absolutely bring them. We've got awesome childcare available.
Great. So Greg, you guys also have some kind of youth-based organizations at your church. What are some of those that you'd like to highlight, maybe?
We have got a wonderful children's and youth program at Clarkson Community Church. If you ever drive by our corner and you see a lot of cars there late in the afternoon or on a weekday evening on your way home, chances are they're supporting some of our after-school programs where the kids can come in and have a safe place to do homework or get help with their homework or just to fellowship with other kids and perhaps hear a little bit of the good news while they're there at church.
Well, I know they have the Clarkson Community Awards breakfast, which I believe is May 19th.
May 19th, yes.
But I know we do that in, I forget what the room's called.
It's called the Refuge, and that is our youth. That is our youth room.
There's
yes.
a stage, and I remember there's obviously we're all set up for the awards, and we're there to film it. But I know you guys have like a pool table and things like that too. And I think I was at one of the meetings for the community awards. They were talking about how there's a battle of bands or something like that. So it sounds like you guys do a lot of those kind of performance kind of show things, especially in that room specifically. That's the room I know the best, but I know you guys got a big kind of complex, I guess you'd say.
We are blessed with a nice sized building that allows us to do many things, and you're right, Matt, there is the stage in front of the Refuge with the band equipment, and we have a passionate worship arts leader, Pastor Jeff, who leads the youth and helps them to develop and display their musical talents and in hopes that one day some of that talent will be put to serving the Lord and the community.
Sure. Well, is there anything else you guys want to say on this? Because this is your first episode of Service for the Community. Anything else you guys have to say or bring up before we kind of wrap up the show?
Yeah, one thing that I think is particularly important about the programs that we provide at Clarkston, we provide those immediate needs, but then we also look at the systemic issues, what causes poverty. So we have two classes that we offer. One is called Bridges Out of Poverty. It looks at what causes and maintains poverty in our community from an individual to a systemic level. And that's
so it kind of analyzes the group, but also specific kind of cases as well.
Yeah, it goes into the different cultures of socioeconomics. So why people in poverty, why the environment causes them to act one way, or why people in middle class, may act. What are the motivations that make them act the way they do? And the goal of the class is so that we can all hopefully understand each other better and interact between socioeconomic groups better. The other class that spawns off of that is called Getting Ahead. That's a 16-week class for people who are actually living in generational poverty. At Clarkston, we believe that everybody has assets and that we need to honor everyone's dignities, and we truly honor the experience that people who are living in poverty bring to the table. So that 16-week class says, hey, we really want to know what it's like living in poverty, and we want to help you build your resources so that you can have a better life for yourself, for your family, and for our community. Sure. And then the idea is that we take the graduates from both of those classes and we put people together when we're deciding what programs we're going to provide for the community, so that we're not saying, getting a whole group of people together who are from the middle class and we say, everybody needs, everybody in the community needs purple shoes. Right. And then people in poverty are saying, what? We have no need for purple shoes. Care. Right, yeah. So the idea is to get everybody interacting. And I think that's it's one of the programs that I think is really important that we're doing.
Well, I think what you say is true about when you're talking about societal things and all things. It's just understanding what a different group or a different chunk of people are going through.
Yeah.
Even if maybe, it's tough to understand it completely if you're not going through it yourself, but just to kind of understand like, oh, I didn't realize that was difficult because I'm not going through that, but I can understand how someone going through that would find that difficult. And that definitely breeds a sense of compassion in the community when you
Yeah.
at least have an understanding of what different people are going through.
Everything that we do in Mission is focused on creating relationships. If we're giving you food, it's because we want to create that relationship with you. We want to give you the food, but we really want to create that relationship. So with our store model, with our after-school program, with emergency assistance, everything is about getting to know our neighbors so that we can work together to better our community.
Awesome. Anything else?
Maybe just one more of an event that's coming up. As we look at our outreach and our missions, we look locally in Clarkston, we look in Oakland County, we look in Michigan, the United States, but we also look out to the world a little bit.
Sure.
And we have a sister church down in Honduras that we visit once a year. That relationship has been ongoing now for about 6 years, but for 18 years now we have sent a group down to Honduras every year to help those in need down there. And I've watched people come back from that trip just transformed themselves from the experience, but I've also had the chance to go on that trip and to see the lives that are touched. And it's amazing the difference you can make in just a short amount of time when your work is there and in His honor. It's amazing to see the results He brings.
And when you get to work with people that have kind of like-minded passions too, that always like, oh man, I have these same thoughts or feelings, whatever it is, and oh man, even someone far on the other side can have those same kind of things. And man, what I have, I can do this, but what you have, you can do this, and there's that good collaboration aspect.
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have this week for Service for the Community. So we'll see you guys next time.